Hello, everyone. And no, the new tennis season hasn't started. It's still the end. It's the sort of downtime now between the season ending in 2023 and the new start. Just what now? A month away for 2024. Delighted to say joining me to give a special Betting Weekly game bet match is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. Sean, I haven't spoke to you for a couple of weeks, my friend.
You missed me.
I have. Not only have I missed you, I'm sure that the viewers, I'm sure the subscribers, and I'm sure the people who follow us on Twitter have been absolutely missing you. But have you missed tennis? Yeah. That's more important. Have you missed tennis?
No, absolutely, absolutely not. As soon as that last ball is hit in the tour finals or whatever, that's me done. I don't want to see another tennis ball again until January, because it's just a long season. It's just you need a break from everything, don't you? Everything in life, you need a break. If you're doing it constantly, that's why people take holidays, isn't it? So I haven't missed tennis at all. In the answer to your question,
well, it's not much of a break, is it? I mean, we've got
no, it isn't.
6 weeks break. I mean, the tournaments start back just for the start of the new year, and Christmas is less than a month away now. Then all of a sudden, Christmas is over and the tennis season starts. So enjoy it while you can. What you got planned?
I'm going on holiday. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I'm away on Saturday. I'm going. Most people that know me will know that I normally have to be pretty close to the sun, otherwise I'm not happy. And I always go to the sort of Canary Islands in the winter just to get like a week or two off. Just in the. I'm not a winter person. I'm not a fan of like winter sports, skiing, stuff like that. That's not me. I like to be somewhere near the sun, and the best place for that from where we are is the Canaries. So I tend to go there sort of December, at some point in December. So I'm going there on Saturday for a week. So after that, I should be a bit more chilled out, and then I gradually get ready for thinking about tennis balls again, but not right now.
Well, last time I saw you throwing darts at the Christmas party, and you upset the odds there. Everyone had you down as the bookie's favourite to be the first one to leave the party. You were the last man standing.
Should I be insulted by that? Why was everyone thinking I'm the first one to leave?
We didn't realise you had a hotel around the corner. We thought you had a long distance to go, and you'll be off ski. But,
yeah,
to be shock. That was the biggest shock of the tennis season so far. You've been the last man standing. The bookies made a fortune.
It was the last 5 standing, I think it was in
the
end.
Dead heat rules apply.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, it's difficult because I've got to go all the way back to Essex, and then it'll be late, and then my little boys up at like 6 a.m. It would have been a disaster. So I stayed over, and it was good, wasn't it? Bit of darts. I think I got the top score, didn't I? Somehow.
I don't know. I don't know. He didn't win. Dan Robert was the winner.
No, I didn't win.
I finished last, I believe. But I think it was whoever you were teamed up with. But anyway,
there was a steward's inquiry on that. Dan Robert was a good 6 inches over the hockey on numerous ones of them darts. But you know me, I'm not one to complain about stuff like that.
Take the you can email into to me, and I'll see if I can check the VAR decision.
I would do.
Well, we've got 2 little podcasts which we're going to do here in the off season before. I mean, people are really looking around for some content on the tennis, and what we thought we'd do here is we do a special couple of podcasts. And the first one we're going to look at here is me and Sean have been very, very fortunate last year and the season before to be able to attend a lot of these tennis tournaments on the ATP Tour. And I don't know about you, Sean, but I've had a few direct messages of people asking me questions where they should stay, what tournaments they recommend. I was at the Tour Championships in Turin, and I was in a bar watching the tennis. I told someone what we do, and they were writing down all the tournaments that we should go to and the ones to avoid and tips we should do. And a lot of people just might want to travel to a tennis tour. So what we decided to do our 2023 ATP Tour Tournament Power Rankings. Now, this ranks the tournaments from a number 10 to a number 1. Now, me and Sean have spent hours debating who's going to be in the top 10. I think last year I went to 14 tournaments, 13, 14, including the ones in the UK. I think Surbiton, Eastbourne, and Queen's Club. How many did you attend, Sean?
It's a good question.
Around about similar.
I haven't actually totted it up, but about 12, I think.
Yeah. So this is the top 10 of the 25 tournaments we attended. Now, one thing I've got to say here is that neither of us went to Wimbledon last year.
We can't even get tickets.
We can't get tickets. I live 10 minutes away. I can't get tickets. It's our local tournament, obviously, but it's impossible to get tickets. All the tennis tournaments do not give us accreditation because we work for a betting channel. So we can't get it. We have to pay to go to the tournaments and attend. And Wimbledon is impossible. But Wimbledon is my all-time favourite tennis tournament. Full stop. So if you ever get an opportunity to go to Wimbledon, go to Wimbledon. But these are the top 10 that myself and Sean went to last year and we're going to give you a little bit about the tournament, where to stay, the reasons why we like it, what we like about the city, and the accommodation. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll realize that myself and Sean have very different travel arrangements when we go to these tournaments. And we also give you the tips of the ones that we will not want to attend this season and one we're hoping to attend in 2024. So let's start with number 10. I feel like I'm giving the hit parade.
So I'm number 10, are we? Okay.
At number 10. At number 10, it's a Sean Calvert in at number 10. Sean Calvert, you have voted for your 5th favourite tournament last year, Mallorca. Now, Sean, I was with you at the Queen's Club and I saw you chatting up some lady. I'm not going to say as an estimate, she was probably in her 90s. Now,
I think chatting up's pushing it, isn't it?
Chatting to. I understand. You clearly never bumped into that lady because that would not be in your top 5. But number 10 in the list is Mallorca. It's a tournament you've been to many times. It's obviously a clay. It's a grass court tournament, but if you look at the grass, it looks more like clay.
Well, it's played on a clay court, isn't it? They just bung grass down for that. That week.
Tell me a little about the Mallorca tournament. They're easy to travel to, the accommodation, obviously the weather. You mentioned the weather. Mallorca is number 10 on our power rankings.
Yeah, some of these are quite personal, aren't they? Because I can fly from Southend to Mallorca. It's 2.5 hours from Southend. Southend Airport is like 10 minutes from my house, so it's easy to get to. It's relatively cheap to get to. The location is great. It's in Santa Ponsa, which is like a little beach. Well, it's not even that small. It's quite a beach resort, basically. The tennis is up a big old hill, but there's a shuttle bus that takes you from Santa Ponsa right up the hill. Don't try walking up the hill, by the way. If you're looking at this on Google Maps and thinking, oh, it's just up there, it is just up there, but it's a very steep hill and it's normally very, very hot there. It's normally at least 30 degrees. So unless you're really fit and you fancy a sort of quite vigorous workout, I wouldn't walk up that hill. It's just nice. The weather's good. This ticks so many boxes for me. Easy to get to from Southend. Great weather. Hardly anybody there, so you can have as many rows as you like to yourself. No hassle. You haven't got people nudging you and sitting next to you and eating crisps and stuff. All that business going on. And you sat there in the sun. You can see this. If you sat on one of the stands, you can see the sea from behind the other stand. It's what's not to like? It's not particularly expensive. I've already bought my tickets for 2024, by the way. Guess how much they are for 3 days?
Oh, 50 euro.
Total.
50 euro.
30 euros.
So did you have any luck there? Did you bet any winners? Did you do okay?
I don't know. I don't remember to be.
I remember by how I did on the tournament betting.
I remember about how sunny it was. Is there a beach there? It's great. I mean, it's got a bit of a VIP vibe. It's in Mallorca Country Club, which is quite an opulent sort of place. So there is quite a VIP element there. But you can just go, get the shuttle bus, which is free, get in there for very little money, sit there completely undisturbed, watch some tennis, have a drink. It's great.
And this is obviously in the summer as well. It's just before Wimbledon, is it? So it's around about June.
Yeah, and you get some decent players as well. I mean, the likes of Tsitsipas, he normally plays there. Kyrgios has been there. Medvedev. You get some good grass court players there. It's not a bad field at all. It's I'm not sure whether it's going to be on the tour. I think I've heard rumours that it's going to be the last year in 2024. So that's a bit of a shame. So get there while you can, I think. But yeah, love it.
And Feliciano Lopez, was it his last match in Mallorca as well? Saw that?
Yeah, we bet Feliciano, didn't we, to beat was it Mark Polmans or
yes,
one of the Australians, wasn't it? It wasn't Polmans, it was the other guy.
You called him Polmans in the video, I think.
I did. I always get them two mixed up. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
I remember you called him. But Mallorca is number 10. So very reasonably priced, good weather. And you'll see by the common denominator of these top 10 is that most of the tournaments are outside in sunny locations. And that is where myself and Sean really do want to be during the tennis season. And
that's where tennis should be played, isn't it?
Should be played. Okay, at number 9, this is the only indoor event, I think, isn't it? It's from me, and it's Vienna. And so the reasons I like Vienna is because I think it's a very, very good tournament. It's a 500 event. You get some big names there. As Yannick Sinner won the tournament, he beat Medvedev in the final. Sinner was superb, and he come into with a bit of form. I've never been to Vienna before, but I really like the city. It was a very easy flight, an hour and a half from London. Very, very cheap city. You wouldn't, when you go to the likes of Paris and you go to Madrid and you go off to America as well, they're very expensive. But Vienna was very, very cheap. It had a huge amount of history as well there. We were actually there when it was Austrian National Day, which was great to see all the ceremony and all the army out and the force in the area. The tournament is in October. So it's a recent tournament, and it's in an arena which is really, really high tech. It's really, really new. It's got a new feel about it. The arena is quite compact, but it holds a big stadium, and it's really busy. Not like busy when you're walking around in other tournaments where you can't move. In some of the American tournaments, Miami was exceptionally busy, but it's just got it's busy in terms of the atmosphere is great. I don't like indoor tennis, especially an early session when there's nobody in it. I think it really lacks any kind of atmosphere, and I think even unless you're going to the ATP Tour finals, a lot of the indoor events aren't great. I was pretty unlucky with the order of play. I saw Altmaier against Monfils, which wasn't exactly the greatest of matches to watch. But then after that, we saw Medvedev play, who played particularly well. But
the other court's away from there, isn't it?
The other court as well. The Stadhalle is it's about 10 minutes outside of the city centre. There's another court that's in the city centre, and you can easily commute. You can get an Uber, which is about €15. And you can get the train. I've never got the train anywhere. So
you do surprise me.
Because it's not because I don't want to get the train. I get the train and the bus everywhere in the UK. I just don't want to embarrass myself by having the wrong ticket and hold the bus up and make everyone.
It's way easier than you think. Pretty much.
No, but I just do not want. I do not want everyone. Come on, I want to go to work, and there's this crazy Englishman standing there getting all sweat and hot and bothered. So I don't. That is the only reason I don't get it. If I could have a card like you do in England, we just tap your card, I'd get the bus. But buying tickets and things like that, I get the wrong one. I don't know where I'm going. I don't want to do it. So I'm happy to get the Uber. And it's about €15 from the centre. Vienna's got a lot of history, really nice place, great hotel we stayed in, really nice place. And I think I wouldn't say it's in my top three, which isn't in my top three, but I think out of the venue, it's a place that if you want to stop off next year, Sean, and just see a little bit of history, good food, lots of schnitzels and nice beer as well. Vienna's good. I liked it. I like Vienna. The airport was really new, and even though it had a lot of history, it was a new city as well, vibrant city with a lot going on. Very safe as well. You can walk around Vienna and feel extremely safe. A lot of these European countries don't feel very safe at all. So Vienna is in at number 9 on our tournament 2023 power rankings. Now it's me again, number 8. Now, I don't think you didn't go here, did you, last year?
Max Purcell, by the way, I was thinking
Max
of.
Purcell.
I've had to look it up. I always get them two mixed up. Same initials. Mark Polman's Max Purcell. Sorry to everyone that's...
all those Palmer fans out there, and they're sorry to all Palmer fans. Number 8. Tournament, you didn't go to this, but you've been to Paris a few times with me. You went with me, and you went this year to the indoor event. That didn't make the list.
That's on a different list.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute. But the French Open is number 8 in Paris.
Never had a desire to go, to be honest.
I think when you go to Paris, it all depends where you stay. I've stayed to the north of Paris. I've stayed in Versailles with you, and I've stayed, obviously I went with the missus, and we stayed near the Arc de Triomphe off one of the avenues in an Airbnb. It was a bit pricey compared to Paris standards. I think it was about €700 for 3 nights. But the location was absolutely perfect. Had a load of little restaurants alongside, some hotels, bars. You can walk 10 minutes to the Eiffel Tower. You can walk 4 minutes from the door to the Arc de Triomphe. And location was fantastic. We could get an Uber again, 15 minutes straight into Roland Garros.
You and I used the subway, didn't you, when we were in Paris? You can do it.
Yeah, but you were holding my hand.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
gave you the confidence, did I?
You knew what you were doing. I didn't know what I was doing.
I didn't. I've never been on the Paris subway in my life.
But we were okay. I wouldn't be able to do that on my own. So you get to Paris. The area where Roland Garros is probably the most affluent part of Paris. It's beautiful. Lots of big houses, tree-lined roads. It's near where the race course is as well, where they Longchamp race course. Beautiful, beautiful area. And when you get in it, it's got a very, very small vibe. There's a lot of queues to get in, but a bit disorderly. Like the French.
That's what would annoy me. I can't be doing with that.
You can black your way into the wrong queue and just say you didn't understand. But the timings, I think, if you went there, but when you get in there, it's very, very busy. It is busy, and all the outside courts are real hustle and bustle, and everyone trying to watch them. The show court, when I went to the show court, the seat that I had, no one was allowed to sit in the seat because there was a television camera next to me. So I complained, and they moved me to the disabled area. They moved us to the disabled area, and we had the best view on the.
That's probably going to be a better view, isn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I like Paris as a city. A lot of people don't like Paris as a city. I think if you go to the south of the city, away from the Gare du Nord, south around the Arc de Triomphe, you'll find some beautiful little places. The Airbnb we stayed in was fantastic. If I stayed in a different part of town, I don't think I would have liked it so much. The food, the city is expensive, drinks expensive, food's expensive, but you would expect that in any European city. But when you get there, it does have quite a good feel to it. I watched Caroline Garcia play her match. It was in sensational atmosphere. She got beat. And then I watched Alcaraz on the Philippe Chatrier, and he lost the first set against Tara Daniel, and it looked like there was a bit of an upset. But I liked Paris. I did like Paris. I thought it was pretty smart, and I'm looking forward to going back again next year. So that is number 8, one of my trips, and it's me again, I'm afraid, at number 7. Now, Sean, you had this as your 6th pick. I had it as my 3rd pick of the year, and we've agreed to stick it in at number 7. And it's one that's probably most, or anybody who's following stateside, will probably have attended if they're tennis fans, and that is the US Open in New York. Now, there's a couple of positives and a couple of negatives from the Uber person in me and the train passenger in yourself there. New York's a great city. It's buzzy. When I got to the hotel, we had a blown up the water mains, water gushing out of the hotel. It was a complete and utter disaster. It was a nightmare. But then when you go from Manhattan across to Queens to Flushing, you're obviously staying in Flushing.
It's a bit of a schlep, isn't it?
It's $70 in a taxi.
I've never done it in a cab, obviously.
I did it in a cab.
I'm talking about the subway, the metro.
I wouldn't get on that.
It takes about an hour, probably a bit less than that. But from sort of door to door, if you're in sort of Midtown Manhattan, you're looking at the best part of an hour before you can get to the gates of the Billie Jean King Tennis Center.
You wouldn't catch me getting that. Now, when you get there, the arena's great, isn't it? I mean, it's buzzing, DJs, dance.
It's very different from the last time I went. It's 15 years ago that I went, and it's very, very different now, isn't it? Because they've moved the grandstand to somewhere else, and there used to be the case that you'd have the grandstand and Louis Armstrong next to each other, and you could watch one from the other. I think if you'd leaned over from Louis Armstrong, you could see the grandstand. That's all gone now. They've moved it to a different part, new Louis Armstrong court. It's just way busier. That's one of my only drawbacks, I'd say. There's some great things and there's some bad things about all these tournaments. The Wi-Fi, by the way, was great. I remember that being wherever I was, pretty much the Wi-Fi signal was strong. So that's a plus, because it often isn't some of these places. But there are some negatives as well. I mean, a bit busy for me. And they've slowed the courts down as well, which was annoying. Used to be reasonably quick. Now it's a bit slowish, but there's tons of positives about the
tips I would say. The first thing I would say to anybody is don't buy a ticket for Arthur Ashe on week 1 or day 2 or day 3. I had Arthur Ashe tickets.
I did, but that was the only one I could get. It was all that was available, so I just took it.
I watched Andy Murray play Dimitrov. It was over really quickly, and then I watched Corey Goff win easy as well. I think it was a waste of time. It was much better to walk around. I sat on the.
But you can go to the other courts, though, can't you?
Yeah. I watched. I don't bet you pay extra. There's no point. You might as well get a ground pass. You get a ground pass.
Yeah, but the ground passes get sold out really quickly. That's why I didn't get ground passes, because that was all there was.
I watched John Isner's last match against Mo. That was quite good, and it was packed, absolutely packed. The weather's absolutely superb as well.
It was super hot, wasn't it, this year?
Yeah. And the only downside is the cost of the trip. Now, obviously, if you're staying in Manhattan, you're paying Manhattan rates.
I stayed in Queens, so I got a slightly different perspective.
Obviously, the Manhattan rates are expensive. Your Uber's there, and then when you get there, if you want a drink or you want even a water's like $5, and then you got a tip on top as well. So it's it's a very, very, very expensive trip if you want to go to New York.
But it is pricey.
It is very pricey.
If you stay in Queens, it's easier, but Queens is a kind of a different vibe, isn't it, to Manhattan? It's very sort of Chinatowny. It's very, very different from Manhattan going over to Queens. You can sort of get about. If you stay in Queens, that's the cheapest way to do it. Stay in Queens, and you can either walk or get the train, which doesn't take very long at all, or even a bus. I did all those things. No one will be surprised to know I did all those things. So it is doable. So if you want to do it slightly cheaper, you can do it by staying in Queens, but it's pricey, but it's great. You know, one of the best cities in the world, New York.
Even the tickets are pricey though compared to a lot of other tournaments. But
they're a lot more expensive than they used to be. It used to be pretty reasonable. Now I think it's because I went on Labor Day weekend as well. The prices go up on Labor Day weekend, so it is actually cheaper the first rounds, and it's also slightly cheaper after the Labor Day weekend as well. So if you go when I went, which was the most expensive time, then you do have to kind of budget for it a bit.
But it's got a great buzz to it. DJs there, you know, the bars are packed. You know, the noise, the craziness in the evening session in New York is fantastic. It's definitely for a bucket list and do it. But if you do it, you make sure you take a lot of money because it's expensive. I think one can of Heineken was $20 or something. I mean,
was it that much? I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a beer.
I had one of those cocktails. I had one of those cocktails. They were $28.
I had a crab salad that was about $14.
Yeah,
had about 1% crab in it. Well, and a load of lettuce leaves.
$28 it was for little cocktail. So that's New York. It's number 7. If the prices went down and and it was a little bit more easy, and the worst thing about there was getting a cab back. The cab lines were insane, and there was so many people, and there was like one cab because the Americans don't have taxi ranks. They just pull them in, and the police get them to move on. And in the UK, we have a taxi rank. They pull in.
You could get the subway there. Where were you staying? Times Square-ish?
I could get the subway, but I didn't. I chose not to.
It goes right there. It goes to Times Square.
I know, but I want to be on my phone. I want to be texting on Twitter. I want to be uploading videos. I don't want to be on the side. No, not for me. I don't do them abroad.
You can't blame the language. There's no language barrier. Well, I know, really.
But I know, but like, I went on it once, and there was like.
You didn't like it. I've always loved the New York subway. I don't know why. It's got.
Years ago when I went on this time, I thought I was going to get mugged after the 2 stops, and I thought if this goes on to another few stops and then there's no one on it, I'm banging trouble. So I thought, no, Uber. No. Okay, that's New York, number 7. Number 6, another tournament that we both went to. It didn't make my top 5, and I'll tell you the reasons why. But it's Rome. Sean, you was there. I met you in Rome, brought my son. He loved every minute of it. Didn't stop laughing, didn't stop smiling, did he, young Harry? But Rome is number 6.
Oh, yeah, he was life and soul, yeah.
He loved it. He loved it. Number 6, Rome.
I forgot that we met for a meal. I forgot that.
We met in Rome.
I remember now, yeah.
Yeah, my boy just didn't stop chatting. He was telling all stories about everything. And I think he slept all the trip. And I think that's why he didn't make my top 5. But anyway, Rome is number 6. What do you like about Rome? It's a lovely little arena when you get there, so that all the little architecture and stuff is pretty cool.
I went with a friend of mine, and I think some of these trips they are better with friends, aren't they, than if you go on your own. So my judgment is perhaps slightly skewed because I had a great time there. I just love the city. It's a really cool city, isn't it, Rome? Bit touristy in places, but tons of good restaurants. Just a great vibe to the cities, the bars, restaurants, and things. So it's easy to get there on public transport. There's a tram stop. You have to walk through I don't know whether you'd like it, because you have to walk through a slightly moody park to from the tram stop to the Foro Italico. And the football's right next door as well, isn't it? Because you gave me the tickets, didn't you, for the football? There was Lazio. Lazio were playing, weren't they? So I got to go to the tennis. I mean, the football is right next door. It's like less than a 5-minute walk. So the soccer's there as well. It's easy to get from court to court. It wasn't. Although it's a Masters 1000 and it's a packed schedule, I didn't find it that difficult to get from court to court. I didn't even buy the tickets for the main court because there was so much going on the outside courts. And on Pietrangeli is one of the best, most atmospheric tennis courts in the world for me.
That's the one that sunk down.
Yeah, the sunken one. Yeah, my only slight disappointment was that I couldn't get on there for Fabio Fognini. He was playing, I think he played Kekmanovic on there, and it was impossible to get on because there was I think Trevor Sand was playing beforehand, so that it was packed full of Italians for that, and there was absolutely zero chance of any of them leaving for Fognini. So it was I couldn't get on. There was no chance. But other than that, you can get around the courts. It doesn't feel like it's busy. Some of these places, I'll come on to the ones later that they feel like they're really packed. Barcelona is one of them, but it feels like there's quite a lot of space in Rome. It doesn't feel like a massive venue, but it feels like there's a lot of space. You can get around. You can get drinks and stuff. There's separate areas for little different meals and things. I thought it was really good, actually. I would definitely go back.
My only negative was there was that the day or a couple of days I went, the weather was terrible.
It rained when I was there as well, but only one day.
Yeah, I watched Djokovic play Cam Norrie. It was the game that Djokovic Norrie hit the ball.
Oh, Norrie whacked him, didn't he, with it, and he got
a bit of an edge of it, but it was a real horrible day. It wasn't sunny. I mean,
I had a day like that there. Yeah,
yeah. You need to go and watch tennis when it's absolutely sunny. That put me off a little bit. And the other thing as well is that I've been to Rome a number of occasions, and I like to go to places different. And I thought it was quite small.
Been. That was my first time in Rome.
Oh,
so
do you know what I thought was small? There wasn't much merch. There's much like restaurant.
The merch is quite hard to find. If you want to, I'll save people a lot of time here. The merch is in a store which is just opposite the main centre court. There's tons of these little stalls, aren't there? I remember going in about 20 of them, thinking, well, where's the merch? But they don't really advertise it very well. But it's in a shop that's opposite the main centre court, and once you get in there, they've got quite a lot of stuff, but it's not easy to find.
Yeah, Rome is number 6 for Sean. I like Rome. I like Rome as a city. I've been there many times, but I'm not quite sure whether I'll be rushing back. But Sean is obviously on his list to return next year, and it's made number 6 on our power rankings for 2023. Now we're into the top 5. This is where the big boys come into town, and we're heading to Catalonia, to Spain, over to Barcelona, where Sean Calvert has got Barcelona as his tournament in number 5. Now, this is one place, amazingly, Sean, I have never, ever been to. I've
never been to the city at all.
Never been to Barcelona. I've never been to Madrid.
I've been to Barcelona loads of times. Never. It's one of the best cities in the world for me, Barcelona. Great city. If you've never been, you obviously haven't, I would definitely encourage you to go. You normally get decent weather. It's not normally too hot. It's not normally too cold. This is important for you. It's easy to get to by public transport. You get off, I can't remember the name of the stop, but you can get off there and you walk through a park. It's about a 10-minute walk from the subway. It's definitely doable. You get the best players in the world there. It's a very prestigious tournament particularly for Spanish players. I mean, there are some problems with it. I mean, I don't think I'll be going back next year because for me, the venue is a little bit too small now. They seem to have changed the courts that they play on now. They've changed the layout slightly, and it is packed. I mean, you don't really mind the crowds as much as I do. They aggravate me sometimes, and the problem is they've only got 3 courts really to play singles on. There's a lot of matches to get through. They don't tend to put many on the second court. They play a lot of doubles on that. They play the sort of what you would say low interest matches on that third court. So there's a ton of matches on that number 1 court, which is just outside the centre court, and it's very difficult to get a seat in there. Once you're in, you've got to stay there for pretty much half the day. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult to get back in. But Barcelona's just what a great city. If that tournament was in a different city, I'd probably have a different view. But I always love Barcelona. I've been maybe 5 or 6 times. Happy to go back. It's a great tournament. I would say get a ticket for the centre court and maybe just stay there because it is difficult to get around. It's a lot busier than it was when I went the first time, which was back in 2012. But I think that's the same of all tournaments. They're all a lot busier now. But yeah, definitely one to go to if you've not been there.
Barcelona, the city. I'm gonna have to go. I'm not quite sure if I'll go to tennis next year, but I will have to make Barcelona.
And there's a new camp as well. I took my little boy and we went. I forgot that we went on a new camp tour as well. So
how far is that from the tennis?
It's not far. It's not far. It's not a big city, Barcelona. It's not difficult to get around. It's not far at all from the tennis. Quite close actually. But he went and did the full sort of VIP tour where you went back to the changing rooms and you get to sort of have a look at the benches that Messi was sort of changing on, all this sort of stuff. You get in the dugouts. He got told off for going on the pitch, which is very typical of my boy. They said explicitly, do not go on the pitch. It's like a carpet. And you can see these little footprints where he'd run on and run back off again. And he got told off for that. But yeah, love it. Yeah, great city.
Barcelona, number 5, definitely one to go to. It's amazingly somewhere I haven't been in Europe, but I will be going there. Sean again at number 4. Now, this one actually did surprise me, Sean. I must admit, I was surprised that you went for this one because on the videos that we saw, I thought you were being held hostage somewhere. from the hotel you were staying at. And when I saw you with scorpions around your head. I saw
scorpions.
You had you was down to the marketplace and you had, the tournament is Marrakesh.
Oh, that, yeah. Okay.
You had some scorpions in your hand. You had snake.
That was a mate of mine who was, again, this is probably because I was with some friends on this particular trip, Marrakesh. But yeah, he did have a snake sort of wrapped around, and that was all the touristy bit down in the sort of the middle bit, the Medinas and the souks and stuff. That was that. Marrakesh is just somewhere different. It's it's unlike anywhere else, on the tour really. The problem I had, which you won't get. I mean, that was just very unlucky that it rained, which it very rarely does in Marrakesh. It was 30, 32, 33, 34 degrees the week before I went. And when I went, it was raining, which they never get. And there was people will probably remember it was a complete farce because they don't bother covering the courts, and they were trying to dry them out by setting them on fire. And there was all that going on. It was a bit chaotic, but there's tons of positives. Marrakesh is a great city to go to. If you've never been, I would definitely advise going. It's just different culture, always worth seeing, all that sort of stuff. Free to get in the tournament, sit where you want, no tickets, wander in and out as you please into whatever court you please. Not particularly busy, which always is a plus point for me. You get to sit wherever you like. Great food. You get to visit the souks. It's not expensive when you're there. For me, obviously, it was slightly disappointing that it rained. Had it not have rained, it would have been, right up there. I probably won't go again this year because the timing of it kind of coincides with half term at the schools, and it's a bit difficult for me to really do it again. But I would definitely go back again if I got the chance.
So Marrakesh, I thought you were going to get arrested for stalking Jonas Elanui. I thought that was.
I see him everywhere. I saw him in
I know
Antwerp as well.
He saw you and done a quick.
Yeah, he's a bit suspicious of me, I think.
Quick 180 and headed off the other way.
He doesn't do anything quick, Eunice. He's normally
just talking about the venue, though, Sean. The venue. A lot of people did message me say, "Sean, okay." And there was going to be a GoFundMe page to get you out of there alive. I didn't know. We were a bit worried about because we were a bit worried about the place you were staying in on the videos.
The hotel?
Yeah.
The hotel was all right. What was wrong with that?
Oh, it didn't look all right on the videos. I thought it was. People were concerned about you. I know.
That's nice that they were concerned about.
I know. All the guys at Bet Rivers were a bit worried about you, and they were going to have to work with the American ambassador to see if you're okay.
It's fine. No problem. I did have a bit of a dicky tummy one day, but
gone to Marrakesh, eating all the food and getting all.
The food's great though. You got to get down into the Medina and into all the back streets and get all the food.
Sounds like hell to me. To be fair,
it's what you like, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't want to go there every day. I wouldn't want to stay there for like a month or something. But if it's nice weather, and it normally is, and it's definitely worth a visit. It's just somewhere that I've never been. I may well not get the chance to go again. So yeah, it's right up there. Marrakesh,
number 4 on our 2003 tournament ATP Tour rankings, power rankings. Number 3. Now this is me. This is me. Now I know you've been there. I know you've been there a few times. You didn't mind it, but you weren't overly impressed. We spoke about this place before. But Dubai. Now Dubai is my kind of town. It's Seeley all over. This designer shops, lovely cars, lovely Ubers, weather fantastic, and it's got a very, very good tennis tournament. I think the tennis tournament gets surprise. They pay the money and they get the top 10 in the world to go there. The venue is great. It's in a place called the Irish Village, which is about 20 minutes outside of Dubai, towards where
there are a lot of Irish in Dubai.
No. Sheikh Murphy, Shake, Rattle and Roll.
Seems a strange place. I mean, I go to Irish bars wherever I go, as everyone will probably know by now. But yeah, you wouldn't expect to find one in Dubai. But
it's called the Irish Village. The whole thing is all Irish bars.
I think I've seen this. Yeah, it's on
in
video.
The actual venue. There's little Irish bars. There's all little restaurants. It's really cool. Actually, it's a nice little place. And they've got little lake running through it. You can sit outside on big bean bags and watch the matches in the heat. It's fantastic. And the best thing about it is they have a whole day session. So you don't have an afternoon or an evening session. You go and you've got the tennis, and it starts late afternoon.
It's chilly at night, isn't it? Is that?
I washed shorts and t-shirt. I was fine, but it's right away from the commercial place. You come out of where the palm is and the harbour and along sort of there. You go away and you're going away towards the big building, the Burj Khalifa.
I remember going to the Burj Khalifa. Is that?
It's right. It's very close to the Burj Khalifa. So it's all out at the time, but it's great. It's got. You wouldn't think you're in Dubai. You think you're in.
Not cheap though, right?
Do you know what? People say Dubai is expensive, right? And it is expensive. But it's nowhere near as expensive compared to an American tournament. If you're going to a decent, every hotel,
the
in Dubai,
flights and that are quite priced as well, though, aren't they?
Not as much as American tournaments. Not as
much.
As,
well, I flew to New York for about £500 or something.
Yeah, you must have gone like I don't know what
sixth class,
3 stops. You must have gone to. You must have
direct British Airways, £500 done.
Oh well, I think Dubai. Well, you get. I got it with a package for the week, didn't I? So I went to a resort with the hotel, but the resort's sensational. I'm going back again. It's my first trip next year. I'm going back in February. I've booked it. I like to go to tennis and also sort of use it as a holiday as well. And I'm going to an all-inclusive resort in Dubai, and it's for me and Paula. And I'm paying less money for the all-inclusive in Dubai with all my food, all my drink for a week than I did for 6 days in the Bellagio with nothing in Las Vegas.
Well, they're both very expensive, aren't they?
Well, not
Bellagio
really.
and Dubai.
Honestly, people.
I don't think you could do this on a budget, could you? This trip,
Dubai, you could
I'm
get
not sure you could.
Dubai for a week. You're looking at a good hotel, all your food, all your drink, 2,000 quid. I know it's a lot of money.
Flights and that as well.
No, that's in it.
Oh, okay.
That's in it. $2,000. That's in it. That's per person. So, but I'm obviously going with the missus, so that's $4,000. But if you went to Bellagio, they charged me 2,800 for 5 nights with no food or drink, and I had to put the flights on top, which were 1,200 quid. Just $4,000 with nothing. And Vegas,
you pay your money, you take your choice, don't you? Either Dubai there or
but you get the drinks and the food with Dubai. You don't get the drinks or the food with Vegas.
I never eat or drink enough to get. I mean, I go to all inclusive with my little boy. We're doing that in Tenerife, but I always feel like I never really have enough because I don't really drink much and I don't really eat that much either. So I always feel like I should be eating more and drinking more. But
yeah, but it's just to be able to have a glass of wine with your meal rather than buying a bottle. I mean, a pint of lager in America is $17. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Anyway, let's get back to Dubai. Dubai is fantastic. I love the place. Great tennis arena. The order of play, we went quarterfinal day, was sensational. So the 4 matches all the way through. Bumped into Rublev there, which was great. And it was great. I loved it. I love Dubai. The journey's not so bad. It's 6 hours on the plane from London, which is not so bad. It's the only way longer that west coast of America is a long journey. We'll come on to long journeys in a minute. But I love Dubai myself, so I'm a little bit biased here. But I think the tournament is great. It's a brilliant day out from the city. So you can spend the day sunbathing. You can go and shopping. You can do this. All the things that you probably don't want to do, Sean, but sunbathing, shopping.
No. Sunbathing, yeah. Shopping,
well,
no.
The malls are brilliant. You get all great. And then you head straight
That's more
to
you with the designer gear and that and the
watches and things like that. It's
watches
lovely.
And that,
it's absolutely lovely. But Dubai is my number 3, and it's a tournament I've booked up already. Number 2 is me again, and it's another tournament that I've booked up already. See where I am. Monaco is number 2 for me. So the ATP Tour, my 2 tournaments, Dubai and Monaco, Sean and Marrakesh. And,
we should swap on you. You should do the ones that I do, and I'll do the ones that you do.
You can go. You can go anyway. But anyway, Monaco was superb, absolutely superb. And it wasn't the fact that I stayed in Monaco. It was the fact that I went to Nice and I flew from London. It took an hour and 25 minutes, hour and a half on that. We were in and out. The airport pulled in. I was out and in the Uber, another Uber. Well, it's booking.com, get the car for you. Brilliant service. Booking.com, straight in, book the hotel. I was in the car in 7 minutes of getting off the plane. Straight out.
It's quite a small airport, is it, Nice?
There was no other plane. Always get the first seat. I always get like seat number 1 or 2 when I check in. So I've got hand baggage. Never take baggage. Get straight out.
Yeah, I do that in Southend. Yeah.
Straight out. So I'm straight out in at 10 minutes, 15 minutes drive in Nice, along the promenade, in the hotel. Great hotel. Nice Old Town is superb. Great restaurants, bars, music bars, Irish bars, everything. Really buzzy every day of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Fantastic atmosphere. You've got a beautiful harbour around the corner. You can walk around the corner to the beautiful harbour of Nice. Then the best thing is getting the train to Monaco. So I did get the train to Monaco. I did.
This is your one train of the year.
My one train journey, and it was the best train journey ever. You get on the train, you go up all the way through up to Monaco for these beautiful little fishing villages. And when you get to Monaco, you go up and then you see it from that, and it's sensational.
It does look picturesque on the TV, that's for sure.
Unbelievable.
Looks pricey as well, though. I don't know whether I can afford it.
It's not pricey. This is the thing, because you stay in Nice, you get the Nice is a 15-minute train drive from Monaco. You stay in Nice, beautiful hotel, not expensive. The tickets for the tennis are quite expensive if you want a good seats. What is expensive though is we went for lunch. We sat down for lunch, and I think there's a picture of this lunch here. That cost me 100 euro. This lunch was, and it was useless. But that was in the Monaco. I ate in the Monaco Country Club. But then I got an Uber, and the Uber ride was unbelievable. He went all the way up through the mountains. We looked down into Monaco to the tennis courts, and then we come in. But you're only 3 miles away or 4 miles away from the Italian border.
Yeah.
And he has to drop you off because no Ubers are allowed into Monaco. So he has to drop you off on the border, and you have to walk in, and there's no Ubers in Monaco. It is absolutely mobbed.
That's the problem. That's busy. Another thing that puts me off.
Really. And it's small and it's mobbed. But when you're sitting in a seat and the sun is shining and the coastline, it's absolutely.
How big are the seats? Are they like the ones at Queen's where you sat there?
No, not like that. No, they're bigger than that. Sinner was playing, so obviously all the Italians were going mad. And Musetti beat
Djokovic.
Played Djokovic, and their crowd were going absolutely wild. It was a brilliant day of tennis action. But it was an unbelievable experience. I didn't like Monaco. Monaco's built up on everything. It's too small. You walk everywhere. I didn't really think Monaco was that great. We had lunch in Monaco. I didn't really think much of Monaco. But Nice, Old Town, way up there. Seeley recommendation. Get there. It's great. I loved it. So Monaco was my favourite stop of the year, but it's gone to number 2 in the power rankings, because at number 1 was Indian Wells. Now, Sean, you had an epic journey to get there. Yeah. I've seen you in some of the bars there, which look great, but it's made number 1 after almost 24 hours to get there. So this must have been some experience.
Well, it's not normally 24 hours ago. I've had a few problems in Indian Wells. People will probably remember the first time I went was during COVID, and the tournament got cancelled just as I got off the plane at LA, and then it rained anyway, so I wouldn't have seen any tennis even if the tournament had been on. So then I had to go back because, you know, it's an unrivaled place to watch tennis. You know, they call it tennis paradise. It is to a certain extent. The weather normally is beautiful. It's normally about sort of 28, 30. Lots of sun in the Californian desert. You know, it's beautiful. You can move between the courts quite easily. Don't go on a Saturday or Sunday. I'm going back in 2024, but I'm not going there on a Saturday and Sunday because it's absolutely packed. It goes from sort of medium capacity to absolutely rammed on the Saturday and Sunday. So I definitely won't go there. But I mean, Palm Springs is great. There's something for everyone in Palm Springs. People don't know, it used to be the old movie stars hangout, didn't it? Back in the sort of 50s and 60s. I went to the bar that Sinatra used to go, and he had his little seat there, and there's all the photographs of, you know, the Rat Pack and all that stuff. It's great. I mean, I would go back anytime to Indian Wells. I mean, you've got the $1 bus, which is great. The problem with Indian Wells is getting there. And if you don't drive, I mean, I can drive obviously, but I choose not to because it is a lot of hassle. You spend a lot of time just sitting there in your car, and it's not for me. So you can get the $1 bus from Palm Springs. You have to get 2 buses. I'm sure people will remember this. You have to get off, but then you don't have to pay another $1. You can get on again to the next one. It drops you off right outside the bottom of Mason Avenue. It's still a bit of a walk. It's about sort of 10-minute walk uphill. In the heat.
What's the point? Why'd you get an Uber?
But it's the traffic. You'd just be sat in the Uber for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
Air conditioning on. You're not selling it to me, Sean. I've got to get a $1 bus with a pack full of people.
You don't have to. Next year, for example,
then I've got to walk 10 minutes uphill.
Well, you can drive
30 degrees. I'm not driving, are they? What travels?
All right, then if you're going to do it that way, you could get an Uber. He could drop you off anywhere. It's normally okay, but
I'd get an Uber from $1 bus drop me off from.
You wouldn't get an Uber from there, no chance.
10 minutes in 32-degree heat.
It's not that bad because it's all right. Normally you're walking up that hill, and it's normally sort of 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's not normally that hot. Oh, okay. And then obviously you're coming down on the way back and getting in that $1 bus on the way back. It was all right for $1. I mean, it's not for everybody. You do sometimes get stuck at Rancho Mirage, which is kind of there's not really a lot there, and there's some of the other clientele on the bus are a bit questionable. But it's great. I mean, Palm Springs is great. Indian Wells is great. It's a lovely place. It's a lovely spot. Wi-Fi is a bit moody, so be careful if you're trying to upload videos. Sometimes that does go a bit dodgy, but and great tech. You got the best tennis players in the world. It's
major.
You can get in and out of the courts. Apart from that Saturday and Sunday, you can sort of wander to any courts you like. I mean, you have to get tickets for Stadium 1, but I didn't bother doing that because Stadium 1, it's a kind of seed against somebody's going to be easily sort of vibe, isn't it? So you don't really need to be on Stadium 1. All the other courts, you can just go in whenever you want, sit down, watch it. It's great.
Tournaments that you went to that you're not going to be booking up for next year.
How long have we got?
Well, I want 3 of them that you're not going to
do. Paris. I'm done with that lower dungeon business. I could give you loads.
When we say Paris, that is the Paris Masters, the Versailles.
It needs to move from that venue. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Swap it. Don't go to Paris. Go to the French Open this year.
No, that sounds dreadful. Like too much queuing and oh no, that's not for me. Any of the indoor tournaments, Rotterdam, that's grim. February, really cold, normally raining. Indoor tennis, not great. And any of the others, Antwerp's actually quite a nice city. I quite like the city of Antwerp, but the tennis is not great. I did get my €16 back, by the way.
Oh, how long did it take? People wanted.
It took about a couple of weeks, I think.
Oh, so the over 9 days betters got the cash.
Yeah, they would have cashed.
Lovely.
Any of those indoor tournaments, Marseille, probably wouldn't go back there. So it's quite a decent little city, but the tennis is, it's not great. Anything indoors, that's the kind of the rule of thumb for me, really.
I wouldn't rush back to Hamburg.
No, well, it was raining, wasn't it? It was.
I wouldn't rush back to there.
I think they're changing the venue because they're upgrading that to back up to I think it's already at 500, isn't it? I think they're upgrading it in some way. I can't remember what they're doing. They're doing something to it, and that
it was a 250, I think, and it's now 500.
I think they keep changing it. It was a Masters at one stage, many years ago, but that venue's small, isn't it? It is small, and that it's.
I wouldn't be rushing back there.
It needs updating, and the city. I stayed on the Reaper Barn, didn't I? So I didn't really get the proper Hamburg feeling. But as a general rule, I don't really get Germany.
No,
it doesn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I just don't understand it, or I just don't get the vibe. It's not for me, Germany. So I agree with you, Hamburg. I wouldn't be
rushing back to Turin. I've done that twice now.
Yeah, I've got no interest in going there.
No interest. I wouldn't do that. And the one that I wanted to enjoy, but I didn't really enjoy it as much, was Miami. I thought I'd love Miami. I thought I'd love it. I didn't really like South Beach. I thought South Beach was its spring break. It was too busy. And I had my phone stolen on the first day I was there. So that
ended up in New York, didn't it?
It ended up in the Bronx in New York the next morning. I had to go and buy a new phone that cost me £1,300, so $1,500.
I like Miami as a city, but that tournament just looks. If it was still in Key Biscayne, as it used to be years ago, I would definitely have gone. But it's just it's the car park open now, isn't it?
The Hard Rock Stadium was a joke because they were building for the Formula One. It was miles away from South Beach, like long way. The Ubers, and I don't think there was any public transport that could have got you there.
Oh, that's me out then.
It was just on the middle of a freeway. You had to go over there. It wasn't great.
It didn't look like there was anybody there in a lot of those outdoor courts.
It was extremely hot as well. Extremely hot. The weather was great. I mean,
the humidity, isn't it? It's very, very humid.
It was nice to do it. I mean, I had more fun on the day I lost my phone. I thought I'm going to have the day off, and I just went on the old speedboat around looking at all the famous people's houses. I enjoyed that more than the tennis.
I like the city, but I don't know whether I'd go to that tournament. It just doesn't.
Oh, I ran into Drake, didn't I? I ran into Drake in the restaurant I was in. Drake was there in the restaurant.
Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't even know who he was as well. But
no,
it was all right, but too busy. And if I did go again, I would never stay in South Beach. No way. I'd be moving. I'd go towards nearer the venue. But that's the mistakes, and that hopefully doesn't make any mistakes here. So that is our top 10. Oh, actually, before we do that, any tournaments you're looking forward to next year?
I'm going to do the ones that I really, really like, which is Indian Wells. Obviously, that's right up there, Mallorca, those sort of tournaments. But going to go to Madrid next year. Not been to Madrid. From what I've seen on the TV, it looks like there's quite a bit of space there on those outdoor courts the first couple of days. Looks like I can get a seat and sit there, and it might be pretty hot. A tournament I've always wanted to go to. So yeah, that's one that I'm really looking forward to next year. That's going to be a new one for me.
I'm going to do two. One of them actually booked up already, and one of them decided. One of them I booked up is Umag in Croatia.
I'm going now. I'll see you there.
I've booked that already.
I've forgotten about that. Yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah,
taking the family. That's there.
I've got a house booked already. Yep, and I've booked a week there, and I've booked a house and the flights already done.
Well, we'll both be there then.
You want to be quick because when I looked and there was only 2 seats left on the flight. So I booked that.
Where are you flying to? Pula?
Yep, Pula. Only 2 seats left. So I booked that, and I want to
look lively then.
I want to do one of the Canadian tournaments.
Okay. I've never been to Canada, actually.
I've never been to Canada, and I'd like to go to Canada. But that is it. So
there is only one. So
yeah,
I can't remember if it's Toronto or Montreal. I think it's Montreal next year. I think it's Montreal.
I can't remember. No, is it? No, I don't think it is. Oh, actually, I don't know. Is it anyway? Let's give you the top 10. The top 10 rundown of the power rankings here for the ATP Tour events we attended in 23.
Yeah, it's Montreal.
Montreal, hopefully that next year. Number 10, Mallorca for sure. Number 9, Vienna for myself. Number 8, Paris, the French Open, not the Paris Masters. That is on the not to go to list. Number 7, the New York, the US Open. Great place, great vibe, but I wish it was a little bit closer to Manhattan. Number 6, Rome. Number 5, Barcelona. Number 4, Marrakesh. Number 3, Dubai. Number 2, Monaco. And number 1, Indian Wells. The 5th major is our number 1 spot on the power rankings in 2023. I hope you've enjoyed this little rundown of our best venues of the year. Looking forward to chatting more tennis with you in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a little break, a little holiday. We'll have a very happy Christmas and a new year, and then we'll be back at the start of 2024 and doing it all again for a new season. Sean, enjoy your holiday, mate, and take care, and we'll catch you all again very, very soon.